Hey folks, this is Onion Boy from ORS Snowshoes Direct.com. We're at our retail store in Montpelier, Vermont, Onion River Sports. That's why I'm Onion Boy. Also, because I'm wearing lots of onions. I'm going to walk you through the recreational trail adventure category right now of snowshoes. Now in this category, these snowshoes are going to have bindings that aren't as supportive as some of the bindings in the expedition or all-terrain categories, but they're going to have more support and features than you'll find in our real basic category. The traction will be moderate, and the price point is right. So the idea here is you're kind of just getting into it, or maybe not doing real aggressive terrain. And we're going to walk you through the options, and there are many. I'm going to go as fast as I can. If you want more information, just go to our product page on ORS Snowshoes Direct, and excuse me, and you will see all sorts of information about the features of each of these snowshoes. So let's start off with, let me clear my throat. It is cold season here in Vermont, and the cold has come my way. Alright, we're going to start off with the Atlas 10 series, and this is a really nice snowshoe by Atlas. If you look at the snowshoe, always look at the traction. You want to make sure you've got adequate traction for the terrain you're looking to do. And here we have some stainless steel traction bars, as well as the crampon underneath the binding. So rolling terrain is perfect. Aluminum frame with nice decking material. And the binding, they call it the wrap comfort binding. It's a pretty easy to use binding. You can loosen the strap pulling on this little orange loop. You slide your foot in, and then you pull on the larger loop. And it's all kind of connected, so it's one pull and it'll adjust to your boot. Nice and easy to use, and it has what's called the spring-loaded binding system, and that means the binding is free to kind of move in any direction it needs to, so you get really good articulation when you're on side terrain, that type of thing. So there it is, the Atlas 10 series. It's also available in women's. The 9 series by Atlas, and this is the women's model, also available in men's. And the difference between the women's generally is that the tails are more tapered to accommodate sort of or facilitate a more natural stride for women, so the tails don't bang together. Otherwise, the features are the same. And on the 9 series, you're moving down a little bit the line, so the traction isn't quite as aggressive. You can see the difference there. You don't have these sort of horizontal traction, or vertical, I should say, traction bars. But still, good traction for that rolling terrain. And the binding here is just called the wrap. Doesn't have as much padding, but it works pretty much the same way. One pull, and on this loop, and the binding kind of wraps around your foot. This is called the FRS binding, and this is a new binding from Atlas. It's a spring-loaded design, but it also incorporates a little bit of free rotation. So that means that when you take a step, the binding doesn't tend to spring back and perhaps flip snow, as the spring-loaded binding will do on the other models. So it's a new feature. It's pretty cool. And if you've heard about Atlas where it flips the snow up, this has solved that problem. And in this category, it's more important because you're generally not wearing expedition gear, or the snow isn't as light. So it's a really nice feature in the new 9 series by Atlas. Again, that's the Elektra model for women. All right, those are the Atlas. Now we're moving on to tubs. Tubs used to be made down the road in Stowe, Vermont, about half an hour from here. Not anymore, but they're still super good quality snowshoes. This is the Venture, and this is the Frontier. This is a women's Frontier. This is a men's Venture. They're both available in men's or women's. Again, traction. If the model above, the Frontier, has a little bit more aggressive traction than the model below. The Frontier is more for more gentle terrain, whereas the Venture is more for slightly less gentle terrain, if you will. But otherwise, they have the sort of aluminum frame design with a decking material wrapped around it. This is called the React binding from on the Tubs Venture. You slide your foot in, you pull these straps, it'll snug up against your boot, and you got a heel strap adjustment as well. All tubs have these control wings, and those help to center the foot. And one difference you can definitely feel on the Venture, it's a stiffer material, so you're going to get a little more support, a little more centering on this. Again, the idea here is you get more control, and the big difference is that this has what's called the rapid response system, and that means that the binding is actually suspended on these bands, so you can actually get a lot more side-to-side articulation than you will on the Frontier, where it doesn't have that feature, so there isn't as much side-to-side articulation. So a little more for uneven terrain, more traction, slightly more supportive binding, and if you're just looking for a rolling terrain, no problem here whatsoever. So that's the Venture and the Frontier from Tubbs. The last model in the Tubbs line is the new Flex. This is a molded snowshoe. I can twist the thing. That's the whole idea. The tail is nice and flexible. The frame is nice and flexible. It conforms to the terrain, but it has tons of traction. It's a really good option for mostly packed surfaces where you're walking on a packed surface, and that flexibility really helps to sort of reduce fatigue on your bones. And you might totally know what I'm talking about. If you've walked on packed surfaces where they're kind of icy and hard, this is a lot more comfortable. And the binding is very simple to use. Just you pull on these straps to tighten it. Heel strap there. It's a rotating tow cord. The snow will shed off the back. And that is the Flex TRK from Tubbs. Great snowshoe, good traction, and one size only. Available in men's and women's. Now we're going to move on to the MSR snowshoes. These are US made. We've got two models here. This is the Lightning Flash, and this is the Evo. And the Evo is a more traditional MSR. If you know MSR snowshoes, you know they are molded. They really pioneered the molded snowshoe thing. So a lot of flexibility in the frame for a good articulation. Nice and lightweight. Tons and tons of traction. You got these traction bars here. You've got these braking bars molded into the frame. It's a rotating tow cord and a very simple binding. Not real fancy, but easy to use and very, very comfortable. And it's a really nice snowshoe for just all-around use. The Lightning is really about weight. They really wanted to lighten up the shoe, and so they designed this frame where the frame of the shoe is actually also incorporating traction. And the decking material is kind of suspended. It's super light. The big feature on the new Lightning Flash, is the new speed lock binding. Go to our site, check out our product page to get more information on this. But basically, you set this adjustment once for the shoe you're going to use most of the time, and all you got to do is kick your foot in there and then tighten the heel strap, and you're good to go. So it's about probably the easiest binding on the market right now. It also comes with an optional instep strap for a little bit more stability if you want. Both of the MSR shoes come with, or I should say, have the ability to add tails. So you get one size for, most of your terrain, but if you want a little bit more flotation, you can actually clip on these tails. It's a modular design, and that will give you more flotation in deeper snow. Say if you have extra weight as well, the idea is you want to stay above, on top of the snow, so you add a little bit more length to the shoe to disperse your weight. You'll get better flotation. When it's not real deep snow, you don't need the extra length. You take the tail off, and you have a shoe that's easier to walk in. So it's a really, really great design, and the modular feature is available on both these models. Last but not least, we go to our TSL snowshoes. These are really nice snowshoes. We'll start off with the Take the High Road snowshoe. Looks like a traditional snowshoe to me, but it does have lots and lots of traction. And if you've watched these videos, you see I always peel these things off because I forget to before we start, but they come with these nice little covers to protect in shipping. But lots and lots of traction on both the frame section and the toe binding section. Rotating tow cord, snow will fall off the tail, and the binding is pretty nice. It's got a little ratcheting feature, so it kind of ratchets. You can adjust it very simply. The binding actually adjusts fore and aft, so if you have got a larger foot, you slide it back, or a smaller foot, you slide it forward. It'll accommodate all sorts of shoe sizes. Otherwise, just a simple strap design on the front end. That's the Take the High Road, also available in women's. And here is the last shoe in the line. This is a new nature shoe. This is like, you can plant this in the backyard. It's all biodegradable materials. It's the first shoe of its kind. Otherwise, it's a molded shoe with a simple binding to use. It actually comes with a climbing bar feature. So you can pop this up, and that'll give you, for climbing up, a nice place for your heel to rest. Otherwise, just a general all-around snowshoe. It's got these little spikes for traction and a pretty simple binding to use. That's the TSL Nature snowshoe, and that's the Take the High Road. Alright, so as I said, check out our snowshoe site for more information. ORS Snowshoes Direct. Thanks for watching. My name is Onion Boy, and have a great time on your snowshoe adventures. Take care.